Sure, go for it.
Yes, so Wyrestrom. I think probably first time we heard about Wyrestrom was maybe 5 or so years ago. Big brand in America, Wyrestrom. They don't know how to spell the word wire, but it's a hint in what they're about. HD distribution, so big category for us. Obviously we've got a lot of brands. We've got Bluestream, we've got Pro 2, we've got modulation by a whole lot of things. One of the interesting things that we're coming up to right now in particular is UHD players are now hitting the market. Next week we get our first one, the Samsung. So that means that we've got sources with a bucket load of bandwidth. So 4K is not just 4K, we're going to find out what 4K is really about. Netflix 4K is a very compressed version. We're going to get a whole lot of information down the line. So when it comes to HD distribution, we're going to need more solutions. And these guys are probably, I would say, probably #1 in the world in market share. So they've got a lot of products. I went to
for the Resi
website.
Yep.
Yeah, huge amount of products. So yeah, when you come, we've got a lot of customers, probably more than anyone else, who ask us how to get signal around the place. I think Wyrestrom's going to be a very interesting solution.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming this morning. Really appreciate it. My name's Justin. I'm from Hills. I'm the key account manager for radio parts, and I look after most of the Series AV national companies in Australia. I used to work for Rutledge Engineering, Insight Systems, and been in the industry for a long time. So I really like AV, a bit nerdy, and just love the industry in general. This is my colleague Glen. Glen's our product support specialist. We have one of these in every state. So basically, he's the big cheese when it comes to all the technical information. But I'm catching up pretty fast. So Wyrestrom. So now clearly Hills represents a lot of different brands, but today we're here for Wyrestrom, and Wyrestrom has been, well, it's been around for 5-6 years. It started off as a kind of an OEM type of factory. It got procured by Wyrestrom wholers bolers, so they don't do any OEMs anymore. It's basically all their own stuff, don't sell it to anybody else. Award winning, you know, they all tried to apply for you know, these special projects and win some awards. Well, Wyrestrom has won quite a few because it's getting a lot of traction in the marketplace. Fully integrated design, engineering, it's basically, they started off as a digital platform, not analog like Extron and all the other boys with a strong history. It's digital only, so they're pretty damn good at the digital transmission. And they're bringing analog sources in, of course. Sales and marketing, they've got partnerships and distribution in 40 odd countries. And there's three main segments: custom, pro, commercial, and consumer, so bits and pieces like the Wyrestrom Express. According to their surveys, 54% of users in Europe and the US use Wyrestrom products. Now, when you consider the Crestrons, the AMX, the Extrons, and a lot of players out there, in 5 years to get that kind of market share must mean they're doing something pretty well, and it's very well priced as well. Distribution technologies, network HD. Hands up, how many customers do you reckon come in and want to put AV on the network? Yep, quite a few. It's been pretty difficult up till now. You've had SVSI, and that's been purchased by Harman or AMX, and that is very challenging to configure. Unless you're a full network engineer, you're going to have some troubles, right? And it's very premium priced. HDBaseT, so basically transmitting via Cat cables, okay? And there's different ranges for the different distances. And then we've got HDMI splitters, scalers, and transmitters, so like a few of the other players. Technology background. So ultimately, we're talking about new technology, which is, you know, we're future-proofing for 4K. 1080p kind of came, and there's a lot of transmitters that came in, a lot of manufacturers. 4K, there's not a lot of content right now, but we know that it's going to come, and you kind of got to be prepared. So HDBaseT is, it's a different kind of technology, not just like a HDMI transmitter. It's a 5-play, you've got power, you've got video, you've got audio, you've got network, got the whole lot. So there's different transmissions. Residential. Residential, so we do the whole house distribution now, not just the transmitters. We also have 4x4, 6x6 and 8x8 HDMI splitters if you want, or a switch, or you can do it via network HD, but mid to high end homes. And then we've got the Wyrestrom Express, which is for the cheaper range. Small business, so look, we've got Wyrestrom have things to cover for boardrooms, meeting rooms. They've got presentation switches, and we're going to delve into those a bit further. Digital signage as well, and video wall processors, which are very, very cost effective. Light commercial, so point-to-point distribution, digital signage. So there's a lot of applications. So you all know what high definition bandwidth copyright protection is. So HDMI, you know, you've got the hot pin in there. If you don't get the handshake, you're not going to get your signal. So it works with a handshake, so a hot pin. If you don't have that, you're not going to get your signal. There's a few little technologies out there, you can break that. And now we're up to HDCP 2.2. The previous one got cracked and is not backwards compatible. So if you've got devices that need 2.2, you ain't going to make it work on a 2.0. So you've got to think about that as well. Next. So we know that 4K is really more pixels on the screen and you're transmitting more stuff. I don't really see the benefit at home on the small screen, but when you go to much bigger pictures, it looks much better. But it's not, you know, it's not everywhere right now, but just know there's a storm coming. So high definition quality, yeah, I know. So 4K requirements, you need HDMI 2.0, HDCP 2.2, and you've got many certified components because you've got to pay licenses for all these chipsets, as you know. Broadcast standard not yet defined. BBC is pioneering a format, but you know, from a domestic driving commercial, this is all really important now in commercial land. It's not just in your house. You know, I remember having HDMI and thinking, oh bloody hell, use it in the commercial field, and they all dropped out and things like that. But it's leading the dog now. All right, so I'll hand it over to Glen to start going through some of these devices. I've got a few to hand out as well as we go along, and there's also references to the page numbers within the catalogues that you've got, so you can look at a few details as we go along. So over to you, Glen. Do you want this for recording? Yes, sir. Do you want me to click away? Or
no, I should be able to do it.
Sure.
So my name's Glen, so as I said, I'm the product audio specialist. Now I kind of don't really come from the technical side of background type of things. I come more from the user and also from you guys as well, as being on the floor and everything like that. A couple of the cool things about I'm just going to point out, if you look at the catalogue, there's definitely a lot of range of products. So it does from the very, you know, entry level right up to the high end level as well. So including sort of, as Justin said, from home into basically commercial as well. Now the good thing about this product is that where it actually kind of fits in with the realm of things, you've got your Extron, you've got your Kramer units, and you've got your Crestron and AMX. Okay, it kind of falls just below that. The other good thing about the Wyrestrom is that you don't need to be certified for it, but yet you can still, it's pretty easy to use, and it's really good for, as I said, you know, your normal walk-in type of customers. Okay, the good thing about it is that as an installer, as you know, you go into a place that they just go, oh, I just want a screen here, and then maybe just a screen out there. 6 months later, they go, oh, this has been really successful, now I want to add to it and start to combine and move with it. The good thing about the range of this product is it covers all that, so it's got a good width, I guess. So there's a couple of good things I like. The catalogue's really easy to have a look at, and it's all covered in there. So we're going to cover about probably half of it today. The other good thing about it is, if I can bring your attention to the actual, especially from a sales point of view, is in relation to the actual website. So if you go to the Wyrestrom website, you can search any of the actual products that you actually need to look in here. This is just an example. It comes up. It's really easy to go, right, product-wise, what do I need? And it comes up with the whole sort of extended transmitters, so it's really good, easy to find information. If you go back as well, is that one thing I really like about this is that you'll find that they usually have some YouTube clips, and the good thing here is what comes in the box. A lot of devices don't come with the IE emitters, the power supplies and everything like that. So it's a really good reference guide to basically go in and just go, oh, I can't remember if that comes with the IE emitters, do I need to buy any additional, any sort of additional plugs, that type of stuff. So it tells you what actually comes in it as well. The other good thing about it is with the downloads, it's got all your 232 and all your drivers and everything as well. And if there's anything like that you need for Crestron or AMX, it's got all those types of codes and everything in there as well, so you can download as well. So first thing we can have a look at is a couple of things I want to point you out, is that if you look up here, it will tell you what page that They're on the catalogue. It's probably a good way just to kind of use it for today, just to follow through, and that way you can kind of see what all the other kind of modules that you've got. The other thing is as well, it tells you the sort of the distance guide as well down the bottom, so how far you can actually extend on that. So the good thing about, and one of the main successful units, especially for the home theatre, is the EX40. So you get the kit, it's a no-brainer, it's very small, it's got the ED/ID options in it. It's also got the two-way IR kit that actually comes in the actual box as well. So this is a real easy solution with everything included, definitely for the home market if you need to kind of extend. And you can get up to, as I said, 40 metres on that.
Please note, this is not for use with computers, this one. We're a 32-bit version. This is not for Macs and PCs at high resolution.
There's also a coax option as well, once again. Pretty self-explanatory, once again, on that page, so you can kind of go through and start to look for that. The thing you got to be careful, as Justin said, especially with Mac, because of the Retina display, sometimes it can cause a few issues. So
that one's got the loop through on the receive end as well, doesn't it? So you can run onto many devices.
That's the next one coming up. Yep. So SDI, once again with this as one, these can actually be linked up. 7 units can be linked up as well. So if you've got an existing area where they're using coax, you can actually then link those up quite nicely. So that's quite a nice little product for existing coax type of options as well.
Just one quick example on those. A lot of the old video display walls in stores and retail operations had component video walls. And they had a lot of quality coax in there with component video linking boxes to boxes to boxes. So upgrading over to something like that's really, really easy.
Yeah, and especially if people are from that old school type of installation type of period as well, they like to stick to coax, it's what they know, so definitely something for them as well. The extender sets, beautiful. So we've got, this is just when it starts to get into the 4K area as well. You can start to get into the 4K transmission, which is highlighted by the green, what the maximum you can get up to, and then what you can go up to HD as well. Okay, supports 36 deep color, once again, IR, all included in the box. Okay, the EX35, this is another new one that's come out. These are really cool as well. I think we've got these here. If you have a quick look at that. So the good thing about this is that for the 4K now, you can bring this through. You can also have one-way POH, so power. And as you can see, the mic's got there, that they're very tiny and very small, so they don't really take a lot of issue to actually put onto the back of a screen or mount that into a wall cavity if need to.
Have you guys tested all the IRs with Monster?
Yeah, so far so good, yeah. The EX70, okay, once again, goes quite through. A couple of extra options here, got the IR again, and you can actually get a bit further distance with that one as well, so if you're extending.
What's the HDBaseT link?
Sorry?
What's the HDBaseT link?
Link. So if you need to link it up to another one, or basically if you've got like a projector that you need to extend it to or something like that, so you can put it through.
Does that mean that you can daisy chain units?
Only up to 1, I think. So now, where this one gets a little bit better as well, as you know with Netflix now, this one actually comes with the ARC, okay? So if you've got a screen that's got the Netflix, Stan, YouTube, you can then take the actual audio output and run that back through, run it through. The joy of this as well, you've got both SPDIF as well as optical as well, okay? So,
I mean, a lot of content's being built into the TV, so you need
Yeah. So especially with the apps and especially with the Samsung screens and everything that's coming, interactive. The other big thing is, screen mirroring. Samsung are really into homogenizing, making all their products talk to one another. So if they've got a Samsung pad or something they want to bring up onto the screen, the audio out of that can come through. So you can kind of see here generally a quick sort of option to actually plug all that in. Once again, this is all found on the website as well, so you can take that through as well. Okay. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty cool, excellent. The X100 4K. Now, as you know, when you start getting into the education market with interactive projectors, the beauty about this is it's got the USB connection as well. So if you've got interactive screens and the box is down the other end of the lecture room or something like that, you can start to transmit all that USB data and everything through that as well. So that's a really good solution for that. Once again, you've also got the SPDIF and Toslink, the Toslink in and out as well.
And then you can also extend your network. So you can extend the far end. Running out cables out HDBaseT, so network on there, basically you can power up the switch at the other end.
Okay. And that just gives you a small understanding of how to actually plug it in. The good thing about this as well is that, especially through Hills now as well, you can get the IR hearing loop. A lot of places have become conforming to make sure that you need to have suitable hearing options. So this has actually got the audio output that you can run to hearing augmentation and then broadcast that out to a class and that type of thing as well. So it ticks a lot of boxes for that.
That's a good point. Are you aware of hearing loops and the rules around those? So the Australian standard 1428.5 and the PCA, 100% coverage. Just while we're on these hearing loops, there's three main hearing loops you're all familiar with. Well, the network loop has just been released as well by Living Sound. So basically 4 gigabit square. Because none of their ground loops work, by the way. You download the app. Basically what happens is the audio is put on the network by the Williams Sound device up to 32 channel. So now basically you don't have to go necessarily spec an IR or an RF type of system in public places. Network loops are the way because you put on your existing wireless network. And that's very exciting.
We were doing a job at Monash University where there was apparently an EDID issue. So they were saying that there was an AV receiver involved and then the Blu-ray player. And TV and the AV receiver and the Blu-ray, they wanted, I think it was 5.1 channel, and then the Bellin at the other end, that wasn't spitting out it had an audio breakout, 2-channel audio breakout, but it wasn't spitting out any signal.
Right. What device?
We tried to get the Blu-ray into PCM to try to get it into like a RAW format. Yep. But have you guys come across any EDID issues with the hearing loop?
The hearing loops?
Yeah. So basically the TV saying, the equipment saying 5.1 versus 2-channel. Any issues?
Not that I've heard of. Because you're basically not sending that 5.1 down, it's one on the up.
Yeah, well, because we could, if we did EDID and we go 2-channel, hearing loop would work, but we'd only get 2-channel on the home theatre. And then if we go 5.1, 5.1 would work, but the hearing loop would
stop working.
Yeah.
Right. That's an interesting one. I haven't heard of that.
Fixed it. I don't know how we fixed it.
That's a good one.
Don't know.
That's interesting.
So next, the EX switcher. Now these are another good option if you're looking at doing something for a boardroom or a training room as well. It's got an automatic switcher. So if you've got an HDMI or VGA, we all know that VGA is having a very slow death at the moment. So you've got the option there to have that and send out to exactly what you need it to do as well. RS232 control as well, so you can actually mount that onto a controller as well. It also de-embeds at the actual receiver end as well. Okay.
What automatic is it? Is it the last active signal automatic?
Yeah. Last in, first out. Yeah. Okay, 4K transmitters. So once again, if you've got VGA in, basically can use with the receiver and connects directly to the HDTP out as well. So just another sort of option if you need to basically once again do a point-to-point. The other thing we've got is the wall plate. There's two versions of this. There's just purely the HDMI version, and then we've also got the HDMI and VGA as well. So how that actually works and put together is you can start to, we'll come back to those points as well, especially with the couple of the switches that we've got coming up as well. HDMI splitters, we've got your basic 1 in, 4 out, EDID as well. They come in at a pretty good price, as well as an 8 output as well. Okay.
Did you put the New Zealand price on there?
Sometimes, yeah. It's just my touch of home, So I just want to know if the currencies are getting closer, Then I can move back. I don't know. So the HDI matrix switches. Now these are pretty cool. So if you need to do simple kind of wall setups and start to, especially for bars and clubs and that type of thing as well, you've obviously got 6 in and 6 out, as well as an 8 option as well. You've got a 4 in as well. Very easy to use as well. So if people are having a small sort of a club or some small bar or retail chain or something like that, it's very easy to basically manage and put that through as well. And then it also goes up to the 8 matrix as well. So specialized switches, cool. So these things are pretty cool for, once again, if you're doing a small training room or conference room that's getting a little bit larger. You've got the HDBaseT out. You've also got the CEC link. Does anyone know what that is? Yep, beautiful. So we're all aware of that. Okay, you got the source switch as well, so you can flick in between. You can actually then turn that CSC link off. We all know that when you start to use it, if it gets out of sync sometimes or whatever, you can then sort of turn that off and go through. Once again, auto switch. Not too sure. Good point. So.
Correct. Then this one will act to control the sources. So if you plug in a HDMI here, then it will send the command through to the TV without having to have it in the Blu-ray player or whatever it is that you plug in. So that's in that secondary stage of control.
Thank you for that. Small, easy kind of diagram as well. You can actually then start to, once again, utilize a controller for that as well.
So no control system, just a contact closure with a keypad.
Presentation switches. Now, if you go into more sort of a boardroom or into that type of area again, you've got these types of options, which comes with the mic input, 4 HDMI inputs as well as the VGA input. Okay. Then there's the extended one, which is the 10 version, which has basically 6 HDMI, 2 VGA, and as well as 2 microphone inputs as well. So if you're doing a presentation room like this, you can have that effectively there, have the multiple inputs, you know, the Foxtel, DVD, a couple of computer inputs if need be, and then start to have those up with a audio system running as well.
Just before you jump across, we met up with Wyrestrom last week, and the general manager told us that Nitocom, they're releasing their wireless presentation gateway and presentation switches. So what that means is you don't have to have a separate WYD or AME or anything like that for mirroring. Basically, it's being built into it, so app free, no cost. It's all being built into these presentations, which is pretty cool.
Once again, the applications that you'd probably put one of those switches in are in the sort of the following as well. So there goes. Just go through the the points through that. that type of thing. Video function, auto switching between the sources, which is pretty good, and it goes from 480p right up to 192 as well. Very small unit, it's about that big, so it fits in quite nicely. You've also got the audio in and audio out as well, so you can actually then put that to another sort of amplified system if need be as well.
Crestron, AMX and Extron versions of these we have $1,500 extra. So these are really well priced and very good costs.
And gives you a bit of a sense of using the 1001 switch, and as you can see here, utilising the wall plate as well. So very easy option, just effectively need the two options there, and then you've got control and to send whatever you need to as well. The control Enado, there's actually a control option which will quickly roll over. There's 2 points that we probably won't cover today, which are the matricy boxes, which are the slotted modules, and going more in depth into the Enado side of things because it's a little bit more sort of detailed and that type of thing. We'll spend a bit more time on that. So it gives you a bit of an understanding. Wireless microphones as well, so it makes it a very sort of option, which obviously you know Hills do as well. Now, this is a really cool unit. The best thing I can really do to sort of explain this is that it's video walls are becoming very popular, but they're at the moment very expensive. Obviously the better looking ones with the smaller bezel cost a lot more money to get the thinner bezel. Effectively, what you can do in most clubs, everyone wants the video wall option with the picture-in-picture option. It allows you to basically use a projector and then start to actually have the video wall look. All right, so effectively having options of how you actually want to actually use the video wall. I've got a small video which will show that all in how that kind of works.
If you work in the bar and restaurant markets, you'll definitely want to watch this video about Wyrestrom solutions to display up to 4 sources on a single projector or big screen. I'm Kim from Wyrestrom, here to give you a look at our 2 new multi-use switchers. The SW0402MV HDMI and HDBaseT models are perfect for the technology-hungry and budget-minded alike. Imagine showing a bar or restaurant owner how easily they can use a 4K or 2K display as a menu board and simultaneously display live sports on the same screen. Don't just stop there. Using a splitter or two and a multi-view switcher in matrix mode, you can also sell them on a multi-display solution. They can show the menu or special on various displays.
So you can see here they've utilised the 2 outputs. They just want to have the fixed menu on the one screen and then have that plus the other inputs displaying on another one whole screen type of thing with using a projector.
Plus, sports and the menu specials and the 2x2 grid on other connected displays. No other special hardware is needed. The scaling and switching is all done from within the Wyrestrom switcher. The new SW0402MV HDMI and HDBaseT are 4 input scaling processors that allow both digital and analog sources to be used. The HDMI model offers 2 HDMI outputs, and the HDBaseT offers an HDMI and an HDBaseT output. Additional multi-view options include picture-in-picture mode in any configuration of 2, 3, or 4 sources. The units offer 4 multi-view presets with the option to save up to 20 more. These switches can certainly be routed into the input on a traditional matrix, allowing the full functionality of the multi-view or matrix mode features to be visible on any display. Obviously, bars and restaurants are just the beginning of the applications that these ingenious switchers can tackle. Anywhere you might want to integrate 4 sources onto one screen with the option for customizable content is the perfect place for Wyrestrom's SW0402MV HDMI or HDBaseT. For more technical specs and easy to download drivers, head over to wyrestrom.com. Thanks for watching.
So you can see the kind of the benefit installation as well. So the end customer is basically getting exactly what they want for a very good price. Something that you might want to put in your man cave there, Justin.
Yes.
Yeah, utilize the projector, start getting the video wall option as well. Okay.
We do a lot of the commercial projectors, the Epson 6570. We put a lot of those in the clubs.
Yep.
Combination.
Yeah. So the scaling option on that is really cool as well. So especially if they're doing menus and using both computer and visual as well. Motion. So
it's easy to whack it on the network and then choose your picture of the web user interface.
That's the thing. You don't have to get these phone calls saying, "Oh, I want to, have 4 things on it and all that type of thing. And how do I do it now? I want to have this and this and that type of thing." So it's very easy. So this just gives you a couple of examples of how you can actually use the picture-in-picture mode as well, and kind of just gives you a bit of an understanding. Once again, it's a very good option because it's a big thing about size at the moment. If you've got people, but people can't afford that or don't budget for the actual video wall option, but this generally gives it as well. Transition is real quick as well, so it doesn't go phasey or that type of thing. It's pretty much seamless as well. Just gives you, well, remember there's 2 options. There's 2 HDMI outs as well as the one with the HDBaseT as well. The other good thing is that a lot of you, especially your contractors, we've got a test kit. It's basically a signal generator and an analyzer. As we know, when big installations are actually going in, they need to rough in all the cabling and to make sure that it's all working fine. They can actually test it before they actually get in having all the screens on the board as well. So this does the full analyzer and generator, so you can see if the 4K is actually going to work, there's no interference, and the picture that's actually going to come out. Then they can come through, if you know that they've tested it all, they can come through, plaster it all up, that type of thing, and then just come back and actually hang in the screens and everything as well.
Is it 4K 60 Hz kind of do?
I've got to double check. I haven't spent a lot of time with it, but I'm pretty sure if you have a look at the page on page 40, it should give you the rundown of everything as well in 60 Hz. So gives you full picture as well, and up to 8 channels of audio as well, so you can actually test. And that's probably, having one of these might be a good thing, especially for Monash. We had the audio loop and option as well.
Question for you, have you seen many 4K testers at the moment?
Yeah, a few, but yeah, the quantum is a common one that you see around the place.
And the Extron one?
Yeah, only the quantum really.
Yeah, how much is that? Just a matter of interest. Yeah.
We were looking at getting one at one stage, but yeah, it didn't do a number of things, which was an issue. And there was a few versions that came out.
Yeah. Yeah. The cool thing about this is that it comes with an actual Pelican style case as well. It's very small, battery, so you don't need to have any power. So if there's no power on site, you can still check all your cabling and connections and make sure that's all working as well. So the price for it, as we can see there, is $17.99 retail. Obviously you would do a fantastic price for your customers, so that's something that we looked at. So yeah, it's a nice little kit. So now we get on to the network HD. So effectively, as you said, this is where realm where a lot of things will be going. So the network HD boxes, they come in 2 types of forms. They've gone in the 100 series and also the 200 series. So they're generally the boxes that you can actually put on. So these are quite a powerful type of units, because especially if you're looking at schools or bars where they just want to have like 3 or 4, and then they start to increase that. The number is pretty, well, it goes up to about 200 units. So for every input source, you obviously need the encoder, and then you have the decoder at the end. So there's a big, in relation to the benefits of HDBaseT and then putting it over to the network. So once again, it just gives you a sort of an understanding of what are the limits of HDBaseT, and then when you should actually decide to go over to an IP-based or network-based type of option as well. Right?
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah.
I'm particularly excited about this because there's a bit of a revolution going on in distribution because of the network. Recently, just before Christmas, I installed a system at the ANZ Bank, which is a 16 by 16 using an external switch, and it was $148,000. Right? So once you go past the 8 by 8 for a fixed frame switch, start thinking about more cost effective and it's scalable, and many in, many out. How this particularly works is there's one box in the middle, which is the controller. It discovers all your encoders and decoders via Bonjour, and so it's on layer 2. It's, you know, it's pretty easy to use. So this is pretty exciting. There's not many products out in the marketplace at this price point. They can do the job. At Infocom, they released their 4K version as well. SBSI have done 4K for a little while. Clearly, 4K is not prevalent yet, so we're a bit slower in, but it works. So when you think about multiple ins, multiple outs, hospitality, those kind of applications, start thinking about the network from a cost perspective. It's certainly going to save your end customer a lot of money. The point here is it's clearly on the network. It's preferable that you have your own AV LAN, not through it on a bigger enterprise network. There's some rules around how this is set up. So when you need some help for design, come and speak to us. Certainly, you know.
What's the switching time?
It's pretty quick, yeah.
Very small. It's not instant. It's milliseconds. It's not seconds.
Yeah.
Have you tested different switches?
With different network switches?
Yeah.
Yes, there's a whole list of approved switches, including your Cisco's and your Package, and I think some Rakuses. So there's a list of approved switches. But the testers, I'm sure other switches work, but they haven't tested them.
So once again, applications, if you are looking to a system that, as Justin was saying, growing, that type of thing with the large, once again it falls into those kind of 4 areas as well. Okay. So generally, to go through the very simple, you've obviously got your point-to-point. You don't need a controller or anything like that. You can just basically send the signal in and then start to send it out via that. You've got one-to-many. So you've got your input source and then spinning out to different ones around the options. Then you've got the full, if you want to start doing matrices, once again. So you've got your decoder going through the switch and then sending out to the actual encoders here as well. Okay. So you've got, as I said, the 100 series, the 200 and the 210. Now where they start to come in is if you start to want to use the video wall option as well. So if you're doing a combination where you've got single screens around and then you want to actually include a video wall, you can, it actually supports right up to a 4x4 video wall. And the 200 series also does a 2x2 video wall option as well. So the cool thing about it is that you can just start to add more and more onto that, and then just buy the receiver unit for what kind of screen that you actually want to put on through as well. And that just gives you another option. Okay. Okay. Now the good thing about this as well is that if you've got all 1080p sources coming through and then one of your screens they haven't upgraded that, or the customer, this is one where you can actually start to then, it will actually then scale it down to 720 for you as well. So once again, you don't have to worry about stuff not coming out correctly on the end. So it just goes through a couple of the actual features through that as well. Once again, it goes up to 4x4 video screen. Goes through that, the NHD and the NH200. Okay. So effectively, if you want to look at it, the 100 just for a single source, but if you want to then start to get into a video wall option, start to look at the 200 series, and you can start to add on to that. Okay. And that's just going through the products on that page, so you can kind of look at the 100 and give you the options in relation to those. Now the controller is effectively like a discovering device, so if you wanted to go in and start to actually then control and then start to manipulate, a lot of installers just have that in their bag type of thing, and then they can start to connect it to the actual unit and see everything that's on the actual web. The user interface, it also comes in a nice sort of rack option as well, so if you are putting it into a network, you can then start to build them up as well. Let's go through that. With the web user interface, it's very easy. Once again, you can set up different scheduling options as well. So if you wanted to have a video wall of just one page and then schedule it to go to another functionality, you can, or another format. Or if you want to actually then start to basically move pictures around. Once again, the manager on site or the sort of the IT coordinator at the site can actually go through and start to change that and manage it themselves. So now Enado, we'll just quickly look at this. This is a new sort of control option. Justin, do you want to add a bit more onto this?
So you're cognizant of AV Express, Wyrestrom, RTI. There's a lot of different control systems out there. Wyrestrom have released their own, which is important for us, and well, Glen and I, because we like to control all the devices we sell, and we've had a bit of a hole. So this has been installed in quite a few universities in the UK, and is really getting a push in Australia after Integrate. So when Integrate occurs in August here, we can start one-day workshops of programming. It comes in two different flavours. Essentially, it's an IP-based controller. It's one small box with IP only, and on the control port end, you can control other devices like global cache for contact closure relay, RS-232 expansion. Then they have another box which has 4 RS-232, 4 contact closures, 4 relay, 4 IROs to cover the gamut within your network. The only difference is only one-way RS-232, it's not two-way. Now, the difference to point out there is with AMX and Crestron and Extron, they have two-way control, so they can see the status of devices on the other end. Okay? This is just one way, so it's just one limitation. With RS-232 is pretty much going out the window anyway. So network control is the way, and that would be two-way control line. Network anyway. So we're particularly excited about this. It's a configurable system. So unlike AMX and Crestron, which is they're fantastic products, and I've been certified for many years, I really like them. You can do a lot of things with the touch panel layouts, a lot of custom things that Wyrestrom cannot. It's a configurable system, much like the Extron control system. So Extron, as you know, only does 80% of what AMX and Crestron can do. This is in the same kind of league as the Extron control side. So we're particularly excited about this. So as of Integrate, August, we'll start to sell this in Australia and have the one-day workshops. We'll come to a workshop with you as well.
One of the really cool things about this and how they're actually then relating it to all their other products, if you go back to that Network HD, they've now got the program to actually integrate with that. So from a person point of view, and it's a very good show option, is that the person can come out with the iPad, they've got their 4 sources, they can view the 4 sources that they're coming up on the iPad and then drag it to where they want it on the actual screen as well. So makes it very easy for people to go around and go, right, I need this to show Foxtel Sport, blah, 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 but I've got some people wanting to watch the soccer, that type of thing. It's all they can do that on the fly.
And it's also important, why this is important probably for your business, is that you have to be really deeply certified for AMX and Crestron and Extron. You have to go through all their courses before you can start to program or sell it or integrate it. With this, it's not certified. We've got backup training, because you're going to need to know how to configure it, but you have to jump through all the hoops. So all your contractors should be quite enamoured with what this can do. We're pretty excited about this.
And it's a really good option as well, is that you know that you can support that customer as they grow with their knowledge and with their business as well. So you've got that supporting product right through. So this just gives you sort of a really easy kind of way to go through the configuration. As I said, this is a separate session, so it just kind of goes through, pre-configured, updates, works on most of the time tablets. This is kind of that option I was saying, that you can actually view all the sources that are coming through. And knowing what's actually coming through, so then I have to sort of go and try and find and get access to the actual server room, that type of stuff. And also, once again, for that kind of area of public spaces and that type of thing, there can be QR codes created for it as well, which is...
Do you understand the concept of that? So instead of having a little touch panel outside the room or in the room, because it's very costly, you'll go, if you're in a lounge room, your friends are coming over, so you want them to control the stuff, QR code it, same goes for meeting rooms. So there's some real cost savings there, it's very useful.
Cool. Did you want to go through this, or?
Well, we've got, yeah, let's play.
Yeah, we're almost at the end, so.
Yeah.
So just
install in America using Network HD.
See if it's going to. There we go. There we go. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah. Looks like everyone's arrived at work. Yeah, exactly. No, we should have preloaded this one.
Yeah. I'll just describe it while it's loading. There's a bar in the US called Striders. They did the business case for big networks. I mean, well, they needed a 60 by 130 output distribution network. So they went forward with Network HD. Hasn't dropped a beat since the start, which was in November, I believe. And I think it was like 128 screens in the venue, full distributed, all managed by Enado. So proof is in the pudding. This stuff's working. I wish you did have the video, because the owner of the club is quite impressive in describing the cost saving and benefits. It's a very, very good installation, and there's so many of them happening around the world. People want to save money, and they don't want to go to the restaurant AMX and extra on par.
See if I can get through there. Wow, that's the PDF. Not happening. All right. Now, just quickly, Wyrestrom Express. So these are just basically simple tools just to get through. So switches, splitters, HDBaseT and HDMI extenders. So it's a very good introductory to Wyrestrom for a lot of people, and also for the home hobbyist as well. So once again, it's all on the page. It's the last page, page 44. So these could be a nice little way to basically get people introduced into it as well. So you've got your HDBaseT extender, coax, obviously your 4K one, and also your Dolby stereo analog, that type of thing as well. So once again, another Monash option there type of thing as well. HDMI cables, which you got your own, which is fine, and express splitters, very simple. Once again, price there, and switches as well. Okay, products we didn't cover today are the UTP matrix switches, and these are the actual slotted, so you can actually customize a rack of exactly the inputs and outputs. So that's, if you have a look on page, what was it? I didn't actually put that in. I think it's page, what was it? 31? Yeah, 27 to 31, I think it was. 23 to 31. That's probably another session, but we could probably do with the high-end type of stuff as well, and actually start going through all those.
And the reason we're not really going through those is because Network HD is pretty much where we're pushing today. They've got an up to 16 by 16 card frame as well. You don't need to be certified like restaurant or those others, which are really easy to use, and also up to an 8 by 8 HDBaseT matrix as well. So there's lots of quite a few options for signal distribution. So that's what it looks like. So you choose what card. Well, that's the fixed I/O, and then there's another chassis that's got the compatible cards for all your HDMI, DisplayPort, all the analog sources, the whole lot.
Yeah, and then we can show you the cards that are coming up. Once again.
Yeah, so that's it basically. 2 chassis, 8x8, 16x16. With some audio in there as well. So that's not a huge DSP in there, but enough to manage yourself.
So if you're looking for, once again, a place where they want to sort of upgrade as they go, systems are all over the place, but they want to start going to network, whatever, you can start to basically just pull out the card slot, replace it with a new card as they start to, that type of thing.
And those are mirrored outputs as well, so it's pretty much the dual out mirrored HDBaseT and the local output.
For monitoring.
So being HDBaseT, it powers up the far end. Power over HDBaseT, very useful.
So that kind of, sort of concludes sort of that overview. And so once again, the website's a really good resource. And this is the really good thing as well about trying to translate that to your customer as well. They can actually feel a lot more supported and they're confident that they're not going to get to a certain point and then can't grow. So,
Thanks, Glen. Was that interesting?
Yes.
There's some interesting info in there. We're pretty excited about representing this brand. It's if you're not familiar, Hills they acquired Audio Products Group a couple of years ago. There's a bit of a wash around brands changing their tactics. But we're very happy to have Wyrestrom. We're fully into the support. We're here to help you. We appreciate the radio parts. It's quite a unique little business because you've got so many loyal contractors that come to you, unlike all the other players out there. We're really right into supporting you. To that point, when I met with the GM of Wyrestrom last week, Adrian, he's given us permission to put plenty of website support for you. And he's not giving it to any other integrator. It's basically their policies, not allowed to publish prices, not allowed to put the info on, but we're talking into allowing you to do that. So we'd like to have another discussion about how best to utilise that. But we're here for your support. Glen is, as you know, he's our technical guru, but I've got a lot of experience in the industry, so we can't help you. We also have brand managers and other people who can assist. So we're very keen to assist. So thank you very much for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. And feel free to hit us up anytime you're ready.
Thanks.